Hey y'all, Jedi Puka here, and today we have a Dragonheir video. So right now we're in the closed beta 2, as they call it. To me it's more like a soft launch. I just kind of want to go over the game a little bit, give some positive feedback, some negative feedback, some things that maybe we can get improved if the devs see this. For starters, if you guys aren't in the Discord, there is a Discord for this game. It seems like the devs are trying to monitor that, get some feedback from players. Please join it, put in your input in there, comment on the video, things that you would like to see change, and I'll throw it in that chat in there as well. So let's get this started. For beginners, all right, when you start the game, you got your character creation. So let's go in here, kind of get a quick overview. We got your attributes, your identity. Guys, when you're starting the game, your identity doesn't really matter. How you make your character look doesn't matter. It's not going to affect anything. Just do what you like to do. The only thing with identity, you get some attribute bonuses. So depending on which bonuses you want in here, it does depend on what you should pick on there. Going over these real quick, we got our strength, intelligence, dexterity, constitution, charisma, and wisdom. So there's checks throughout the game, throughout the story that you're going to get for these. The checks honestly don't matter that much. It's for a little bit of role playing, some D&D style like flavor in it. It's nice flavor added to the game, nothing important. The main things with these that you need to know is the intelligence will affect your cooking, which they did a pretty good job on the cooking in this game. So we'll come over here real quick and show you that. You come in here to cooking. You got plenty of recipes that you can get gathered up on here. Now what I like in here is that you can come in here, you can just combine, say, two random things. Doesn't really matter what. I'm just going to waste these just so you can see. You're going to get a roll. If you hit your roll, you're going to get double back. We only got one, so we only got one back. As you combine foods, you're going to get new recipes. And when you unlock the recipes and come in here, you'll actually be able to see what recipes you have for each little thing in there. So it's pretty nice to have that. Cool little thing. Now the strength, when you go into your forging, it's going to help you with getting back some of your materials. My biggest issue with this and my feedback for them is that you only get back the iron ore. I think you should be able to get back some of your legendary epic gear. And I'm not talking much, like one or two back if you hit your roll, just something. So like right now, we're going to forge. We need to hit a 14. We got a 20 because we got our strength up. We only get back 3 of these. So it's nice to get the iron ore back, but getting back one of those would have been a lot better. Now, some other things to get into. We got our camp here, so we'll go over the camp real quick. Just since we already looked at the forging table, we got a little quest thing here. It's cool. You can come in here, follow along. If there's some stuff you don't know what to do, get in there, look for it, and just find things to do. So it's good. Adds a little bit of flavor to the game too. Extra resources to unlock because you're just going around exploring. The horn in this game is pretty cool. You kind of get roughly 1 to 2 a day that you can randomly summon. There is a chance for epic and legendary heroes to come out of here. I like that a lot. Give them props for giving us that daily chance, but it's super slim. It's rarely going to happen. I haven't seen an epic or legendary out of mine. I did have someone in my clan pull legendary, so it's kind of cool to know that you can, even though I haven't done it yet. The cart in here, when you upgrade the cart, you get stuff in here to unlock. It's nice the first time you get it upgraded and you buy it. This needs to be improved. There needs to be a reset on here. You have the little refresh timer where it refreshes daily. However, the majority of this does not refresh. So once you buy the dice, they don't come back. Once you buy the scrolls, they don't come back. I think that this should be changed to, at minimum, like a weekly reset so that we can at least get these scrolls weekly, especially for the epic ones. They're hard enough to get. I don't see why we couldn't get a weekly reset on that. And the Heliolite dice, I don't know. That's something that I think should be improved. The devs need to look at that on the cart because once you do your initial buy, the cart is useless. Now, when you come in here to sell stuff, this needs to be improved a lot. You come in, you click something, you want to sell it. Cool, you sell the one item, you got to sell individually like that. There's no way to select multiple items. That needs to be changed. We need to be able to sell multiple things at one time so we can clear out our inventories a lot quicker. So hopefully that is something that the developers can look into. Now, getting back into the game, we got the story mode. So in the story mode, you get to run around the map. You kind of have sandbox exploration. There's actually a decent story. if you're into that kind of thing, I know a lot of people play these types of games and don't really care about the story, which you can just speed through it if you want to. That's fine. But for those of you that care, there's a little bit of voice acting. The story itself is good. The side quest, what I like about it is you'll run into characters that are actually on the roster here. So you get to do a little bit of extra exploration and like developing character development. You get to see a little bit of their background lore ish. So it's kind of cool. Like Eric, he's a free legendary. After I beat the game, there was a side quest that I ran into him and got to get a little extra story out of him. So it gives you like an idea of who these characters are supposed to be. And then going from that, we can talk about the character design. Character design in this game is amazing. They did a really good job with these guys. They look super cool. So far, all the abilities, they've been fun to play around with. Epic and rares feel good in this game. You can do content with epic and rares. I beat the entire game only doing epic and rares. I haven't pulled a single legendary. I haven't even tried to. And I'm not going to until the actual full release. So that way I could kind of explore all these epic champions and see how they operate. So far, the ones that I've used, they've just been fun to play with. Like this guy, he's a beast, and I use him a lot. He's my main DPS. I got this other guy somewhere, Voresh. I like him a lot. He's a great secondary healer. Gardas, I've been playing around with him, making resistance teams. So just overall, design's really good. Got to give the devs props for some of the design in this game. So, you know, one of the big things in these games is kind of the graphics and design of characters is what pulls a lot of players in. I think that they got that going for them. They just need to update a few other things to kind of help with some player retention. Now, going into dungeons. So we got plenty of dungeons in here to play. This is where I like to play these games. I like to build up teams to go through these dungeons and just have fun, you know, trying to push them as much as I can. The Goblin Lair, it's pretty fun. Just got to stack a DPS team, get through as fast as you can, get your resources. I enjoy doing it. It was really good to do. Actually, I'm going to go back and clear the last station there. I guess I got to my Goblin Lair too, never went back. But it's a lot of fun to play. The Frost Domain, Tempest Domain, Flame Domain, that's where you're going to get resources to level up your characters. You do have to build at least 2 teams of different affinities, because otherwise it's going to be really hard to level up. So like my main team is Flame. However, I needed to go and build me a Ice Poison team so that I could farm the Flame Domain and get my character levels up. Props to the dev for that design. I like it. I think that was a good idea. It forces you to experiment a little more with your teams, level up people you wouldn't normally level up, so that's pretty good. Going down into other dungeons, you got these 3, you're forgetting your artifacts. I've been having a lot of fun. I've been pushing Grave of Venom. I'm on stage 8 right now, trying to get up to 9. I need to probably start pushing some of the others too, but I've been enjoying it a lot. So these are fun dungeons so far, at least early game, mid game levels. I don't know how it's going to be in game, but right now I've been having fun playing through them. So got to give some props for the dungeons. I hope that they keep continuing to give us more on that. As you're going through the story, you're going to get more content to go through and play. We've got the Fey Wilds. That's pretty fun. I just hit the little level 30 mark area on here. So you get like your challenges. Once you hit 30, you can only use your characters twice in a stage. So that's going to add more flavor to making you develop more teams. I like it. I think it's good. It's a good place for resources. It's a good place to just push and enjoy the content. Another place, once you beat the main story, when you come over here, you get the Pillar of Trial. I've been having fun with Pillar of Trial. It's a affinity-based like dungeon type thing. So when you come in here, you're gonna select which affinity you want to play as, and then you can only take characters of that affinity, and then you got to build up a team. So this I like because it's gonna push you to build up. For right now, it's a Fire Radiant team, Poison Ice team, or what we got, Necro Lightning team. Each season reset, it's going to rotate which affinities work together. That's another cool thing. So every season, you're going to be able to build your teams up differently. Character levels will reset, so you'll get to pick who you want to build up, how you want to build them, and create those teams. And this dungeon is kind of cool because it gives you a way to test those teams out, really, especially once you hit the end of the story. Speaking of the story, we've got halfway through the game. You get the Green Dragon fight. That was a lot of fun. You get to play around with your teams a lot. It took me, the day I got to it, I beat it, but it took me a few tries. I had to play around with the team positionings, things like that to get it to beat it. It wasn't too hard of a fight, but it was a good mid-game fight. The final boss fight, and that one comes up, you get the purple dragon. I did make a video over me beating that one free to play. I really liked it. It was a big challenge. It's my favorite fight in the game so far. The biggest thing with it is that I had to actually develop a core team. I had to develop a good positioning strategy for the team I was using. So whether you're using melees or range, you need to get them positioned just right so they don't overtake damage. So there's a lot to play around with in that fight. I had a lot of fun doing it, building my characters up for it. It's a great fight. So you guys play through the story, get there. I know some people are getting frustrated because they're having a really hard time with it. It's not meant for you to just get in and beat, you know, like you got to get a team built up. You got to get your levels built up. You need to go get some gear, some decent gear at least, and you got to play with your team composition to get through it. So I got to give them props for the boss fight on there. Vortex boss, getting into that needs some improvement. So Vortex boss is kind of like your clan boss style fight. When it first started, we were on like an easy mode. You hit, I think it was like 3 mil, you were getting all the rewards. I was just getting to where I was like gonna be hitting 3 mil, like I was at 2.8 mil, and then they changed it to the hard mode, which is fine, but my problem with it is that the rewards stayed the same. They did change the thresholds after an update because people were complaining, which we should have been, and so they're gonna make the thresholds from what the notes say a little bit lower on the hard to get the rewards. I think that the rewards should be better though. I also think that there should just be like an easy, normal, hard mode. You should be able to select which one you want to go into. It shouldn't just change with the season. I get what they're doing is as the season goes along and people are getting stronger, you should be strong enough to then fight the next form of the boss. I get it, but I would like to be able to just select which one I want so that I can try to push and see how high I can get on each like stage of it. And on top of that, we need to be able to get better drops. I think that I don't know how it's gonna be from the hardest one comes out because we're not there yet, but I think that you should be able to get like a Heliolite dice drop from there, like just a chance for that, because I do think that that would make it a lot better and keep players engaged in the content. If we're not getting that Heliolite dice drop, I don't know if people are really gonna want to keep grinding that out. Maybe it's a fun fight, but we want that drop. Artifact sets in this game, I think that the artifact sets are pretty good. I like them. I'm still playing around with them, still getting some unlocked, but so far they seem like they got some pretty interesting effects. Like especially with this game, we get the skill haste to attack faster, things like that to play around with. So we're still trying to figure out, you know, what's good, what's the best, but I do like that a lot. My feedback for the artifacts would be when we do the game reset at the season reset, we're going to lose all of our artifacts. I kind of like how the season resets work. You get to reset all the players. We all get put back on the same playing field, especially as you get further along into playing the game, you know, 6-7 months down the road when you have more legendaries, you get that season reset. You can actually compete with those players who are spending money and getting more legendaries than you. My only thing with the reset is I really want the developers to add a lock for our artifacts to where we can lock 20 pieces of gear that will stay with us. The reason being is in games like this, you're grinding because you want to get that perfect piece of gear with those perfect substats. You know, you want that attack percent chest with that quad roll, crit rate, or whatever, you know. Well, in this game, if you get that, you kind of lose some of the excitement because you know you're going to lose the piece at the end of the season. So it's like you get it and it's fun and it's cool, you get to use it on a character, but you know you're going to lose it. I think if we could add 20 lock spaces, it would let us lock that god tier gear that we get, so we'd be more excited to actually get it because we're going to get to keep some of it. And then as the game goes on, as people are playing this game, you know, for a year or two later down the road, which for one I think it will help with player retention, but later down the road, you know, then you actually have to start strategizing and being like, okay, now I've got 21 pieces of god tier gear, which one do I want to give up? So, you know, it'll make you start actually like thinking which gear pieces do you want to keep for the next season. I think that would be a really cool thing to implement. I hope the devs can do something like that. That's like one of the number one things I would like to see. Another thing I would really like to see is gear set loadouts. Right now we only get the one loadout. Well, the issue with the adventure is if you switch elements, it's going to take off your runes here because you're not the right element for them anymore, which I get. But the other thing too, especially for the adventure, is that each of these setups are meant to be a little different. Fire is for damage, ice is kind of shielding your team, and lightning is kind of more accuracy needed for stunning enemies. So you do have to change up your gear whenever you're changing that too. I would like to see 3 loadouts so that I can match them with those, but not just for the adventurer, for everyone. If we had 3 loadouts in these characters, for instance, for Martina, I really like her a lot. She's a good damage dealer, so you want to pump the damage up. But some dungeons, you pump her damage up and she doesn't have survivability, so you got to come in and change your gear up a little bit to get survivability. If we had 3 loadouts, I can have 1 loadout for her survivability / damage and 1 loadout for just pure damage. So I'd really like to see some loadouts like that. Another thing, I think they need to add an event in the summoning when you first start. It would be nice to see like a 5 or 10 Heliolite die event to get a Lego. 10 at the max. 5 really should be what it is, but we should just have an event that pops up and it's going to stay active until you pull your first set of dice, so you get a legendary. I think that's going to help, number one, player retention. And then because you're going to get that legendary, you're going to want to play with it, build it up, build a team around it, things like that. Where right now it's kind of hard to get a legendary. If you want one guaranteed, you got to beat the story or you got to get 35 dice. I've been playing since the game came out. I did spend $5, but I haven't used any of the stuff from the $5 I spent other than I got it for the epic hero. So I have 30 dice. That's just from playing through the game, grinding out what I can. I haven't even got enough dice to hit Mercy yet, so I could pull all 30 of these and still not get a legendary. I think that we need to get one in the first 5 so that we have something to play around with in the legendaries. And the legendaries in this game, they're really cool, they look sweet. They're also overpowered, so it'd be good to give players that so they can help compete towards the whales who are going to be buying a lot. Another thing that I think needs to be changed is the daily energy. So right now, the energy recharge is super slow. The devs did made a comment that they made it like that because they don't want us grinding in the dungeons 24/7. That, it's not that type of game. But the thing is it is that kind of game, whether they want it to be or not. These games are about playing in the dungeons, grinding for that great gear, trying to get those god tier roll gear sets. And we don't get a whole lot of energy. I went to bed last night, I was at close to 0. I woke up, I was at like 55, 50 energy. I've been up for a little bit now, so now I'm up to 60, but it's like super slow recharge. That's not enough to do much. That's 6 goblin runs or like 4 dungeon runs maybe, What they could do is you got your daily commissions that you got to do. They could add energy drops in here, it should be like a 30, 40, or even 50 energy drop on each one of these, and then that gives you some energy to play around with for the day. Now, speaking of the commissions, they're pretty important. This game is level gated. As you play the story, you won't be able to advance until your adventure level is up. I see a lot of complaining about that. Personally, I don't mind it. I like it. I have some days, I'm working a lot. I got family time. I don't have time to play these games, but I can jump in and do my commissions. They take literally like 2 minutes to get them both done. I could do my commissions. Maybe if I have time, I might do some arena fights, but that'll give me my levels. Then my days off, I can grind through the content. So I kind of like it because in my days off, I can do it at my own pace, where the days I'm working, I don't have to worry about getting too far behind everyone. So it's cool for me. It's not cool for everyone. The devs are pretty set on keeping the level gating set up that way, so hopefully it doesn't turn too many players off. I think it's something that kind of could go either way. I wouldn't mind if they lifted it, but at the same time, I'm enjoying the game, how it's set up. Combat in this game, I kind of like it. It's pretty good. Mostly just the strategy of it. Like when you come in here, you gotta actually set up your teams. You gotta consider like, how do these guys work together? What's your strength and weaknesses of your team, where you need to fill in your holes. Then your positioning matters. Like I want my tank in a certain spot to where he's getting all the hits. If I move him down here, this guy's getting attacked. If I move him up here, they're getting attacked. So each time you play, you got to play around with where you're going to position your characters at, where you want your ranged characters. And then good things with the boss fights. The main boss fight, the purple dragon, if you have 2 characters that are next to each other, they take more damage. If you have multiple characters next to each other, they're gonna just get dominated, taking massive damage. So you have to plan, depending on the boss, of do I want them spread out, do I want them closer. But then the other thing you got to consider when you're spreading your characters out is you need them close enough to receive the heals. So if you have this character too far out and he's squishy and he gets hit, but these are all together, these are getting healed and he's not. So you got to think about that stuff too as you're playing around with this game. The combat to me is really fun. The design is really fun. The character design makes the combat fun. It's cool to look at, cool to watch, fun to play around with. Overall, guys, I really like this game. If you haven't tried it, I recommend jumping in the closed beta. It's open in most places, or you know, you can use a VPN or whatever to try out the game at least. I think it's a good game. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with it. There's some things that, of course, the developers can get fixed. I don't want to give them, like, knock them too much, because I do like the game that we're playing, but at the same time, they do need to focus on some of the stuff, especially for player retention. There's a lot of feedback players are giving in Discord that I think is good, things that would be great to add. Now, I know some of the stuff that I'm saying is probably hard to implement. I don't work on the development side of things. I never have, so I don't know how hard it is. These are just suggestions that I think would make the game good or better, but I know that it's impossible sometimes to implement everything that we want. Hopefully they could take some of this, make the game a little better. The last thing I just wanted to mention is there is a character reset when you first start the game. It only lasts for 2 days, so you're supposed to be able to level up your characters, reset them if it's not good. I think that needs to be extended to like 2 weeks. Some people, you know, you just, number one, you can't play the first 2 days the game comes out or whatever, so then it makes it to where you want to start on your days off, so you have time to level characters and try them out and reset them if you don't like them. But the other thing with that is 2 days isn't enough time to get characters high enough level to test their synergy. So I think the character resets should be for 2 weeks, so that way we have time to actually play with our characters and then get them reset. Anyways, guys, like I said, overall, good game. Love the graphics, love the design. I'm having fun with it. Let me know what you guys think out down in the comments. Join the Discord, give these guys some feedback. Try to make this game a great game, you know. So far it's good. I'm hoping when it launches they can get some things fixed, make it even better. Thank you for your time. Have a good one.